Space Channel 5.
Clusterfuck Media. CFM Radio.
It's time for CFM Radio. We are live.
CFM Radio, we are back once again on a Wednesday evening, bringing you video game music and news.
Absolutely, the very best video game music and
Gaming news.
for an hour or more. I am Vector, your host. With me, as always, is Drix, aka DJ Benham, spinning the beats. Drix, how are you tonight?
Pretty good. Had some fire pinball streaks playing the latest games, still enjoying some Xbox Game Pass, and of course my favorite esport, Dota 2, as well as a pretty sweet start to Mega Man Legends over on the Retro Goldmine
Yes.
on Monday. All the gameplay of which will end up on our YouTube channel, and it has been upscaled using an emulator, Duck
Dude,
Station,
it looks so good.
up to 4K. We're enjoying some voice acting and some storytelling, and I'm fired up. I'm ready to plow through this one. I think it's my favorite Mega Man game, as well as the most anime Mega Man game.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Drix, I gotta tell you, I'm loving the way that Mega Man Legends is looking on that, whatever kind of upscaling you've got going on that stream. It looks awesome. And I said it, I was there on the stream, and I said it on the stream, but I'll say it here tonight. Both, I'm playing Jade Cocoon on Tuesdays for CFM RPG Theater. Drix is playing Mega Man Legends, which is an RPG, but we'll give it to him on the Retro Goldmine. And it's like both of these games are PlayStation games with really good voice acting.
Yes.
Like, it's genuinely impressive to hear that high quality of voice acting from all the way back in like the late 90s, because it's like I compare those two games that we're playing because let's face it, they're both kind of later on in the PlayStation's life cycle, right? I think Mega Man Legends is what, 2001, and like I know Jade Cocoon is 1999, you know, so
same era as Dreamcast. You know, we're listening to Space Channel 5 right here. You know,
and you know, it's one of those things where it's interesting to think about how strong that is, even compared to the beginning of the generation with something like Symphony of the Night. You know, like Symphony of the Night had hit or miss style voice acting, but it was really, really good for its time. But then by the end of the generation, they started to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, how much data, how many megabytes are you going to dedicate to audio? How hard are you going to compress it? You know, listening to something like the Star Fox 64 voice lines uncompressed is completely different than hearing it on the N64, just for data's sake.
Absolutely. Oh, 1 second here. Just give me one moment. Sorry, need to avoid a little bit of lag there. But I had a Microsoft Teams open, and
No,
no,
we're not at work right now.
Don't want to do that.
This is our passion project.
Don't want to do that right now. Anyway, other than that, let's just jump right into it. The other game that I've been playing right off of stream is this one that you're going to see on the B-roll right here, and that is Unicorn Overlord. I'm playing it on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I also downloaded the demo for the Nintendo Switch, and even with a 5-hour timer, it's awesome. It's amazing. I haven't felt this way about a strategy game in a while.
It is so addictive. It's like one of the most addictive strategy games I've ever played. Like once I pick it up, it's really hard to put it down. Like I bought the game on I bought the game on the weekend it came out, and every time that I pick it up, I end up playing it for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, good one to pick up on the Switch too, because you can just take it on the go and pause it whenever.
It is, and you know what? I'll say it like this: you might want to use maybe not use the stock Joy-Cons. Maybe invest in like that like pad that you can get, like the Joy-Con pads, or maybe
Pro
just the
controller,
Hori Joy-Con. I'm using the Pro controller on the TV, absolutely, but on the go, I've found out that like. It's not like this game demands reflexes or anything, right? But you're
No.
moving. The maps get huge, so you're cranking that joystick from one end to the other, boom, 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 all the way.
And
like,
it feels so much more action packed than like a turn-based game, because you got that little time limit, and like you'll almost be punished for taking a little bit too long to think, because the enemies will keep like respawning, sending more troops at you, and I don't know. It feels so much more action-packed than, like, say, Final Fantasy Tactics or something like that.
There is no playing defense, right? Like if you end up, like if you can stall out maybe for a couple battles, but it's not gonna work because the time is always against you. And there's ways to get around a timer loss. It's not like a timer loss is 100% guaranteed thing if you have a certain item. But other than that, you know, not only do you not want to use the item that you use for that, but you want to just focus on the strategy. Every mission feels very well crafted. I'm playing it on the tactician mode, and it's because I played the demo on the normal mode, and I rolled through it once, and then I played on the tactician mode, and that kind of felt a little bit more my speed. But there's a lot of really good elements, especially as you get deeper into the game. Interactables on the map, like you're seeing on the B-roll right now, little catapults that you can fire at a big group of enemies, take a bunch out at the same time. You can join into, like, other units might join you mid-match. You could talk to other units if you're able to speak with them with a certain character on the battlefield. Like you deploy a unit led by that character, and then that character can talk to this enemy unit or this neutral unit who's on the battlefield. Then they might join you. It's a very, very cool game, and right down to the fortresses and the outposts you end up capturing or liberating. Like, everything has a purpose. Sometimes you might liberate a town and they'll be like, "Oh my God, thank you, sir," and then they give you an item. Other times you might liberate a ruins, and then you might find something in there, like a magic scroll or a magic item. Other times you might liberate an outpost in front of an altar, and then you could pray at the altar, and then it uses like you could alter. You could like change the weather and like hit people with a hurricane. Like, there's so many cool ways that the game mixes the strategy up for you. And you know what? I feel like I'm only dipping a toe into the game, even though I probably played it for about 20 hours.
Wow. Yeah. No, every path feels really rich and rewarding to explore.
Like the first continent in Cornea that you start the game off in the demo, the one in the demo, that area alone is probably about 10 to 15 hours of gameplay in the full game.
Yeah, that's why they give you 5 for free in the demo.
Yeah, they give you
that's enough.
They give you 5 for free. You could, if you know what you're doing. I played through that demo like 2 or 3 times. If you know what you're doing, you could really crank a lot of progress out of that demo.
Yeah, but it's definitely enough time to get hooked on this one.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm loving this. This is a great game. To me, this is a great game. I will say you probably won't like it if you're not into strategy-focused games. Even though what Drick said is true, it's very much more action-packed than like a Final Fantasy Tactics or even an Ogre Battle at the end of the day. But but the game still is 100% strategy and tactics, and being able to adapt on the fly, and being able to really know the system, what unit beats what, and how you unit composition really matters. You really got to be into what the game is throwing at you. And you know what? It's a good amount of micromanaging at the end of the day, and there's a lot to remember. So if it doesn't gel with you in the beginning and it come off as intuitive, it might not gel with you for the entirety of the game, because it doesn't ever get simpler, it only gets more complex.
Yeah, definitely a lot to consider and a lot to learn. You kind of you can't be afraid to make mistakes and then learn from them. And then even your own units, you can host mock battles between each other just for test runs and trials to see what is actually working against what unit combinations. You got your front row and then your back row, and a lot of really cool animation and some fun storytelling in between. But it's beautifully redesigned, kind of 2.5D. It's 2D characters in a 3D world running around, and every town has its own story and line of quests and characters to get to know. And I'm hooked.
It's a very, very cool game. I'll probably have a full review next week. I'm playing the hell out of it. I can't put it down. So it's one of those games where I'm probably going to see if I can crank it out before the big deluge of huge releases next week hits us like a tidal wave.
Yes.
But I will say, before we jump into our first musical break, and before we get into the host of new releases that's even coming out this week, because there's a couple of awesome more than a couple awesome releases coming out this week, I would say. Drix, did you know that Sunday that just passed was Mario Day, March 10th?
Oh yeah, I opened up last week's show with a Mario song, and there's plenty more where that came from, because I'm a big fan of the Nintendofication of jazz,
Absolutely.
as you could call it. But yeah, that means a lot of good Nintendo Switch games going on sale, and some pretty big announcements from Nintendo too.
Oh yeah, very true, Drix. And you know what? Release dates for Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, very cool. May and June, end of the month in May, both May and June. Sounds like we're gonna have a pretty Mario packed summer.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna have a very Mario summer with everything coming out that they announced on Mario Day.
Yeah, who knows when Lego Mario Kart's coming out? There's gonna be you'll be able to make your own Lego Mario Kart. Sounds pretty cool.
Yes, quite the theme, quite the collaboration between monsters in Good Times.
True. Yeah, especially when you're talking about things like Piranha Plants. I don't know if you've seen any of the Hot Wheels Mario Kart Hot Wheels stuff, but some of those tracks that they brought to life, like Bowser's Castle and Wario Stadium and the Piranha Plant, there's a Piranha Plant one, they look perfect from the game. It's pretty awesome. So I'm pretty excited to see what Lego Mario Kart can do. But and Drix, how do you feel about the Mario movie number 2 coming out in 2026?
I'm pretty excited about it. I like this. I would love to see Jack Black return as Bowser and just do some more Mario themed music. But yeah, big fan of everybody just hitting the cinemas to see a new Mario movie.
Did you like the first Mario movie? Did you ever see that one?
No, I only through memes, and that was enough.
Only through memes. Hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll say it like this.
Like I get most of my news.
True. Drix is a man of many memes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say it like this. I liked the first time I watched through it. I watched through it a couple times. First time I saw it, I really liked it. Second time I saw it, I wasn't too hot on it. Third time I saw it, I couldn't watch it all the way through. So here's hoping that the Mario movie 2 has a little bit more substance to it, because I really, really liked everything about the animation. I thought it looked great. I thought everybody sounded great as their characters, and they really got like the Mario, I guess, vibe down in that Mario movie. Like, it was cool. I just wish it had a little bit more meat on the bones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe after the success of the first one, they won't be as scared to take a little more risks or something. Stretch a little bit farther out there, reach deeper for the B-sides and the rarities and the deep cuts of the Mario universe and the Mushroom Kingdom.
No one should feel like that Mario doesn't have any kind of like these crazy deep cuts, because don't you guys worry. When Mario Thousand Year Door comes out, you guys will... That is a Mario deep cut, if I ever saw one. That game has some crazy Mario RPG concepts, and is one of those games where you'll get through like halfway through Thousand Year Door, and you'll be like, dude, this is a Mario game?
Yeah, I'm more familiar with the first Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64, but that was the foray into turn-based RPGs that Mario had going on, since the Squaresoft collaboration with Super Mario RPG.
And I loved that remake too.
Yeah, I think Switch is going to be kind of coasting. If the PS5 is on its last leg, then maybe the Switch might be on its last leg as well, because they seem to be coasting on
100%.
like remakes. And I don't know, call it a hunch, but I'm expecting some new Switch hardware any day. They could announce it. Surprised they didn't bring it up on Mario Day, but we'll see. Maybe next year, or even before the holidays. Who knows?
I think they might. Before we go to musical break, I'll throw a little bit of speculation out there, because it's one of those things where I think that they'll announce their new console around the holidays, and it'll come out in like spring, the following spring.
Okay, that's more their annual calendar.
Yeah, because you gotta figure they probably have games done for it already. Like this Princess Peach game that you're seeing on the B-roll right now. I'm excited for it, and there's a demo out for it, and you should probably play it if you haven't yet. But it's one of those games where I think it definitely feels like a late stage Switch game, if you catch my drift. Like, it's got great presentation where it counts. It has it plays well. It's got a nice concept, and it's got a good idea behind it, but you can tell where the cut corners are.
Oh my.
After you start playing it. And it's not a terrible thing. It doesn't ruin the experience, but if you've played a lot of games, especially coming hot off the heels of Super Mario Wonder, it is surprising to see this demo in the state that it's in. And I don't mean to say that in like a hyperbolic way. It's just, man, there are a couple things. There are a few nitpicks that just seem like if this makes it into the final game, that's a little worrying.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens when Princess Peach gets the spotlight.
Well, we definitely will. But we've got a lot more to talk about tonight. But I'm ready to rock out, because this guitar in this track that you've got playing, Drakes, is crazy. What is this?
This is a song called Surf Vamps from Road Rash Jailbreak on the PS1.
Road Rash Jailbreak, PS1, CFM Radio, we are live.
Surf Vamps, surfing vampires.
Build by the
Radio.
CFM Radio, we are back.
We are back with some video game news to serve you over this video game music. That last song was from Space Channel 5 Part 2 called My Sweet Happiness. This one is from Enter the Matrix for the PS2, Mona Lisa Overdrive.
Gotta love the Enter the Matrix stuff.
Oh yeah, getting chased around by albino dreadlocked ghosts, you know?
Ooh, hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull up that trailer. Because we're about to, before we jump into the new releases, we're going to talk about a game that we probably can't. We're probably never going to be able to play.
Yeah, just like Time Splitters on last week's show.
Yes, just like Time Splitters on last week's show. Just like all of the other canceled Sony live service games that will never see the light of day, such as The Last of Us Factions and other ones.
Yeah.
You know what? I think this gets copyright struck. So we're gonna put up the Soul Hackers. But
Yeah.
we're not gonna play the trailer. You can find it online, but it is the Spider-Man: The Great Web multiplayer co-op canceled game. The trailer leaked online.
Oh no. Yeah, very hush hush. Maybe it would have come out if like Madam Web is and or was doing really well or something.
Maybe, but I think it's one of those more so. It's just one of those games that got caught in the crossfire of Sony and the layoffs, and
Yeah.
you know, getting rid of a lot of the things that weren't going to be projected to make immediate money. And it's very interesting to me because this came out, we found out about this at the tail end of last year. CFM Radio unfortunately was on hiatus for this news break, but when the Insomniac Game Studios was hacked and all their future projects were revealed, including gameplay demos of 2025's Wolverine for PS5 title, and their future unannounced X-Men and Spider-Man projects. But one of those Spider-Man projects was called Spider-Man: The Great Web. And we now know that it was it's canceled now, a co-op multiplayer experience that would utilize the Spider-Verse IP. And it was one of those, like I had said before, it was looking like one of those games that just got caught in the crossfire. It's never going to come out because it's a live service game and we got to cut costs, and Helldivers 2 is killing it. So we don't need to invest in it anymore.
Wow. Yeah, maybe like a record label has just been shelved due to another game's success.
True. That's
We need more server farm for this.
More comparisons to the record industry, dire as they may be, which it is kind of a shame because it seems like the game would have been a pretty cool live service idea. In the trailer that you can see, again, Spider-Man: The Great Web. Search the trailer on YouTube. You can find it. You had a playable Venom. You had playable Scarlet Spider. You had a bunch of different Spider-Men, right? And seeing after playing both Spider-Man games and Miles Morales, the Spider-Man spin-off, all those games have like 60 costumes.
Yes. It's a Spider-Man aesthetic, full of Spider-Men.
All of the Spider people.
Some Gwenom, perhaps.
Yes, that would have been cool. And that's one of the big draws. Like, even playable Venom, playable maybe symbiote Spidey, playable Gwenom, playable Miles Venom, you know what I mean? Like, that would have been kind of cool. I would have paid that kind of DLC money to play as those kind of characters if they actually had a unique play style, right? Like,
Yeah. But yet another glimpse into what could have been with a canceled trailer.
What could have
gameplay
been
footage.
Spider-Man: The Great Web. We will never know what it is, but you can find out what might have been on that trailer on YouTube. But enough about games we can't play, Drix. Here's some games that you'll be able to play pretty soon. First up, we've got... It is the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection.
Oh yeah. Make way. This is a pretty good one. This definitely makes the top of many lists as far as great Star Wars games to play.
Yeah, a lot of PC players still play these games, Battlefront 1 and 2. It never went away on the PC. So,
yeah, I picked up the first one on sale and was surprised to see people actually still playing on it. You know, a lot of bots, but still some dedicated players.
Absolutely, and it's okay because it's a great game, and now it's back. This game is coming out for all major platforms: Xbox consoles, PS4 and 5, Switch and PC, and it's launching tomorrow, Thursday, March 14th. And this excerpt comes from the Nintendo eShop page as the game was part of their partner direct. And it reads, quote, "Fight in iconic battles from across the Star Wars galaxy. Play the classic Star Wars Battlefront games on modern consoles, online and offline, in this complete classic collection. The classic collection includes Star Wars Battlefront Classic, includes a bonus map, Jabba's Palace. Star Wars Battlefront 2 includes the bonus maps, Bespin, Cloud City, Renvar, Harbor, Renvar, Citadel, and Yavin 4, the Arena. It includes bonus heroes, Asajj Ventress and Kit Fisto. And man, listen, that's a lot of game. Those games have meaty single-player modes. These games are bringing back the online multiplayer. Drix, I think a lot of people are going to see a resurgence of some Star Wars Battlefront. What do you say?
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. I'm not like the biggest Star Wars fan, but I'm ready to come back to this one on a modern machine with a new paint job. And it might, taste pretty good alongside your copy of Dark Forces, the other boomer shooter in the Star Wars universe that came out pretty recently.
Absolutely. Star Wars Dark Forces, also another one of those games where awesome retro Star Wars action, right? Just from top to bottom. You can get it all tomorrow, March 14th, Thursday. On pretty much everything. Doesn't matter as long as you don't have an Xbox. I guess it's even on Xbox One. Yeah, it's even on Xbox One. So even if you got an Xbox One, you can play Star Wars Battlefront. It's all you guys.
Yes.
Next up,
go out there and get those blasters firing.
And make sure if you're a stormtrooper, make sure you hit the guy. Don't be a stereotypical stormtrooper. Yes.
No, it's important if you want to, have a nice ratio on that one.
Next up, we've got High Water from Demagogue Studio. And this comes from the Steam page. Quote, "Earth has flooded and the planet is doomed, but there's still time to enjoy the view. Guide Nikos and friends through the flooded world of High Water and beyond in this story-driven adventure game where they'll have to fight for their chance to escape." This one's also releasing for pretty much every major platform, PS4 and 5, Xbox One and Series consoles, Switch and PC tomorrow, Thursday, March 14th. And Drix, this one looks interesting. It has a nice cel-shaded vibe, a very cool atmosphere, the water world aesthetic. And you know what? The combat's got that Final Fantasy Tactics style combat, grid, tactical turn-based combat.
Yeah, I'm about it. It looks pretty sweet and hits gamers this week.
Absolutely. Hits gamers March 14th this week. Make sure you check it out. High Water. It's coming out on every major platform. And finally, we have a game that people may like old school gamers talking about boomer shooter type games. Let's see if anybody remembers space exploration game Outcast, because the sequel, Outcast, A New Beginning, comes out this Friday, March 15th, and it hits the PS5, Xbox, and Xbox Series consoles along with PC.
Yeah, taking us back to a PC era.
Very much so a PC era. This one's from the Steam page. 20 years after award-winning action-adventure hit Outcast pioneered the genre of non-linear open-world games, the long-awaited sequel sees Cutter Slade return to the spectacular alien world of Adalpha. Resurrected by the almighty Yods, he has returned to find the Talons enslaved, the world stripped of its natural resources, and his own past intertwining with the invading robot forces. It's up to him to go on a mission and save the planet again. And Drix, this one looks pretty crazy. It kind of looks like not gonna lie, it's got that B tier game vibe, right? But I gotta say, these BioWare style RPGs, where it's like just an open world with some streamlined, simple combat, where the meat of the game is the role playing, I really like those.
Yeah, non-linear storytelling. I mean, this was a pioneer in that. So, again, not too unlike Unicorn Overlord, taking different paths and having them be very rich and fulfilling. And, almost taking us back to the days of like point and click adventures, but, in a modern landscape with nowadays capabilities.
I mean, besides Battlefront, both this game and High Water that we just saw, these games, they've got a very focus on narrative and adventure and exploration. So I'm pretty excited. If you guys are looking to pick up a new game this week, you guys got some pretty meaty titles. You got 64-player custom servers on Battlefront and Battlefront 2 multiplayer. And if you're not a multiplayer kind of guy, you could still enjoy Battlefront and Battlefront 2 because they have some of the coolest Star Wars single-player campaigns that you can play. You got Outcast, A New Beginning, and you got High Water. One game is both of them are like deep blue experiences. One is in the wild blue yonder, the other one's in the deep blue sea.
Yes, exactly. Variants of setting and storytelling. So, if you're going to pick up anything this week, here is what CFM Radio recommends.
We got a lot of juicy, meaty titles for you, but Drix, I'm not ready for anything like that yet. I'm ready to chill out with this track that you got playing. What is this mellow groove?
This is from Gran Turismo 4, Race Menu number 2.
Ooh, the second race menu from Gran Turismo.
Clusterfucked Media.
We'll be back.
Clusterfucked Media.
Video game news.
CFM Radio, we are back, and we're about to hit you with some more video game news.
Yes, some interesting news for Helldivers 2 fans out there.
Very true, but before we get into that, we've got some interesting news for the whole industry. Because we all know that the SAG-AFTRA hasn't been in the news in a big way since the striking that happened last year. But it's looking like the next frontier they fight on is AI and its use in the game industry.
Yeah. Favoring actors and or voice actors. I mean, where do they draw the line, really?
We're about to find out from Variety. The headline is, quote, AI is sticking point in SAG-AFTRA video game contract talks. The strike appears 50-50 or more likely, union chief says at South by Southwest.
Yeah, another controversial event that has happened recently. Music industry parallels.
Oh my gosh, very true. From the article, SAG-AFTRA chief Duncan Crabtree Ireland, quote, emphasized repeatedly that the union's position on AI revolves around, quote, consent and compensation for its members when AI engines use their work. We want, quote, we want to make sure the implementation is human-centered and focus on augmentation of production, not replacements of people, he said.
Yeah. Consent and compensation. Sounds all right. Those are fun words to throw around when talking about these kind of things. But yeah. What do you mean by augmentation of production, implementation? Yeah, let's get to work, guys.
Yeah. At this point, it does sound pretty buzzwordy. But reading further, he elaborates, quote, we don't want to go on strike, Crabtree Ireland says. But we're not going to make a deal with these companies that don't protect our members from abusive and exploitative uses of AI. So, it seems like whatever way you want to cut the cake, these guys just don't want AI messing with the bottom line of their actors and talent.
Yeah, that might be what they signed up for, but yeesh. What a battle.
True. I was just about to say that's quite a battle that they have ahead of them.
Yeah. I mean, we're all figuring out this AI stuff together. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We don't know what's around the corner.
No, I don't think anybody does at this point because, we got those AIs that can make the movies now, right? Make their own movie.
Yeah. Yep. Doesn't take much, to make a bunch of images, string them together, and have the pictures start moving around.
Yeah. Trying to do it like a flip book, right?
That's all animation is, really. So, I mean, that's where it starts.
Yeah, true. But you know what? We're rolling up on the end right here because finally we've got like you were saying, Drix, the big story from Arrowhead Studios. As their game, Helldivers 2, continues to ride high on co-op multiplayer mayhem. Dropping in with your buddies, killing a bunch of enemies, dropping your stratagems, saving the world. It's a great thing.
Democracy
in action. PlayStation Blog sat down with the Arrowhead CEO and creative director John Pilstead to talk the shift from top-down twin-stick shooter to third-person shooter, the pros and cons of friendly fire, and of course, the inclusion of mechs into the game.
Yeah. I from what I've seen around the net, may or may not have mixed reviews at the addition of the mech suit.
True, especially I also see more mixed reviews about them users having their items and weapons nerfed into the ground, but that could just be making way for these big mech suits, right?
Yeah, you need a little more headroom if you're introducing new firepower, man. But I just gotta, throw one out to Joel, the game master, on that story we covered, because there is a human game master. Just if the players get a little too out of hand, then yeah, he's gonna throw something a little heavier
Joel
at you.
steps in and he says, "Listen, guys, it's Jover," and he throws a huge wave of bugs at you, and
Yeah, it's my job to keep this fun.
And on the note of mechs, Pilstead says, quote, "All in all, stratagems are generally designed in an iterative and sprint-based fashion. We play the game and get bored by the current selection, so we add another one. Maybe a designer has an idea, such as the walking barrage or something more advanced. The XO44 walker that came about by the team saying, 'Wouldn't it be awesome to have a mech?' Then the process started. So it sounds like, if anything, it's in the process of becoming one of these stratagems. If you haven't seen them in the game, it's like you throw a little grenade and then you do a button, like a contra code button combination, and then it does a nuke.
Yeah, I am so excited to pick this up and play it. I know a bunch of people that are playing, having good times online, seeing a lot of good clips out there in gamer content creation land. But yeah, I want to play that little rhythm game.
Yeah.
And get some stratagems out on the ground.
Again, I'm the only guy with I'm the only PS5 owner that doesn't own Helldivers 2. So, it's kind of funny for me to see all of this stuff happening with the game. But you know what? It really just makes me, the fact that this game just keeps getting more and more players really just makes me more and more excited for when I do put down Unicorn Overlord. Whenever I can get a chance, actually, to squeeze this game in, Tricks. Because not only do we have Unicorn Overlord right now, I've also got, at the end of the month, we've got 3 games coming out next Friday that are huge games. So, it's one of these things. You saw it on the B-roll, Tricks. I'm playing a little bit of Tekken. That's my multiplayer game right now. So,
yeah.
I don't know when I'm going to be able to fit a game. There's just still so many games. It's 2023 never ended.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's still just coming on and pretty strong. We've had a healthy dose of Star Wars games, and we're hell diving. We've had a Final Fantasy VII remake installation on that whole journey. So, yeah.
we've even had brand new darlings like what you're seeing on the screen right now. Pal Worlds just storm, kick the door open on the scene, boom. Become the biggest thing in gaming since, God, I guess what you like to play, Dota.
Yes.
It's just one of these. It's just been a whirlwind ever since last year. Even we thought that this year. Here's the thing: we thought that this year was going to be a little bit slower. This year might be a little bit on the lax side with the games. It just hasn't been. There's just so many great games.
Maybe the big franchises have fired off, and the people putting out these consoles and this hardware are saying, "All right, third-party developers, you're up. It's your time to shine."
Third-party developers. You know what's funny, Drix? I hear what you're saying. Definitely, and I'm not gonna say that I disagree with PlayStation at all when they say that. Hey, you know what? PlayStation 5's in its latter years. Third-party devs, do your best. Because, we all saw the Microsoft partner preview. Microsoft pretty much says the same thing.
Yeah. Just about.
I don't know.
Hey, none of our releases will get in the way of your releases for the time being. That's what it is. You can't just be double booking performances on the same day. We can't do it all.
No, not at all. And it's very, but to me, it's very funny because, as I was about to say, let's juxtapose that, right? Juxtapose hey, third parties, where's your stuff? With Capcom at the beginning of last year saying, well, we released Resident Evil 4, and that's our game for and Street Fighter 6, and we have games on a 3-year plan.
Yes.
So like
25 million copies of Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, what,
over
5,
3
6
years.
years old now.
Yeah, like 25 million copies. Like it's so what? It's really interesting. I'll spend a few more minutes before we close the show out. We'll spend a couple minutes speculating right here. It's pretty interesting to see the climate of the industry when you actually take a step back. When you take a step back from the glitz and the glamour of the new releases and the indie darlings like Pal World that come out and steal the spotlight. Drix, it's like you said, where's the big names? Where's the big games? We don't really have any sort like Xbox. What did Xbox even do last year?
Yeah, that's their own problem. They, I still haven't made it onto Starfield. Even with the, Game Pass, I think it's better to get the streaming. Just, go the whole $15, $16 instead of the $10 Game Pass. And just, don't worry about the hard drive space and the Windows files permissions and things like that. But, yeah, stream some Starfield if you can. I haven't yet, but it's still a goal of mine that I'm trying to get out. And, yeah, but other than that,
Starfield wasn't a bad game. It's just that was, like, pretty much their only game.
Yeah, that's, I think, the beginning and end of the list.
Yeah, and like
That's
even though it wasn't a PlayStation exclusive, Baldur's Gate 3 still came out on PlayStation well before it came out on Xbox. Like Xbox, it shadow dropped in the Game Awards on Xbox digitally, but they cut them off before they could even say it, so no one really knew. Like I said, it's pretty interesting to see these, see where we are in gaming right now, see the landscape of the industry. You see games like Sea of Thieves and Suicide Squad, huge AAA productions. Sea of Thieves, quadruple A, or not Sea of Thieves, sorry, Skull and Bones, quadruple A production.
Yes.
It just, I actually did a
quadruple A production, lukewarm reception.
But I will say, not the catastrophe that everyone thought it was going to be.
No, I guess not.
Not the
Gotta give it the time of day first.
Yeah, not the catastrophe people thought it was going to be, but it doesn't matter because, you got Pal World, and Pal World is like, do I want to play Sea of Thieves? God, I have Sea of Thieves on the brain. Do I want to play Skull and Bones? Sea of Thieves is probably the better pirate game, honestly. But do I want to play Skull and Bones and waste time on Skull and Bones? Or am I just going to say, fuck it, get Game Pass and play Pal World?
Yeah, or stream Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
The all-in Microsoft bet on Game Pass, like, will it be paying off for them, or will it end up just hurting them in the long run?
We'll see. Yeah, Game Pass is a very interesting thing to think about, especially with, you just keep hearing more and more studios who got their start on Game Pass, or even still are like on the Game Pass service, and they don't have a ton of positive things to say. Last week we had the lead CEO, the boss from Moon Studios. He's out here saying like, yo, it's great that like Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and Will of the Wisps is on Game Pass, but like, please buy the game. Like, playing it on Game Pass doesn't do anything. And like, that's what we were saying earlier in the show. It's kind of like the in-joke of the show at this point, drawing parallels to the music industry, because it's like, what is Game Pass, right? What am I doing? I'm playing Pal World, or not even I'm playing Pal World. I'm playing, God, I don't know, anything that's not Pal World or Persona, I guess, or Halo. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm playing any of those games.
I popped open some Bolt Gun yesterday.
Yeah, I'm playing any of those games, but the devs aren't getting any credit for that. They're not getting anything. So it is like Spotify. So like,
getting an upfront fee instead of like storefront sales digitally via something like Steam.
Anything remotely near that idea. Like we were saying, it's more like Spotify. It's like, oh man, I play Ori and the Blind Forest and Pal World gets the 2 cents.
Or whatever, has the most measurable player base.
Right.
Or whatever stat they use.
Yeah,
At
whatever
least on
metric.
Spotify, it's monthly listeners.
Yes, monthly listeners. And those metrics can be ambiguous. You never know what they actually mean. But anyway, that's it. I don't know about you, Drix, but I don't want to think about the bad that comes with all of this bad stuff. We've got a lot of games to play this week. A lot of games that are coming up that are crazy big next week. And I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to playing some more Unicorn Overlord.
Oh yeah, it's definitely on my must-buy list, and pretty soon I'll be catching up in the late stages of the PS5 game.
Don't
that
you worry
everybody else
about
has
it.
Been playing.
Don't you worry about it, man. Capcom's got your back. 3-year plan. They got you covered, dog.
Yeah, and I own a few titles that I bought on PS4 that I'll already have on PS5.
Hey.
So, you win console wars by Sega doing what Nintendo don't.
Indeed, very much so. Very much so.
Rings true to this day.
Anyway, that'll do it from us here on CFM Radio. Remember to drop us a like on this cast. We've got content coming up right after the cast. Right after this cast, right now, if you missed any Res gameplay that Drix might have dropped, it's coming up right after this cast. If you missed our first impressions of the Infinity Blade PC mod that came out, that is excellent. You should play it if you haven't played it. Even if you've played the original Infinity Blade, you should definitely play it. Those impressions, my impressions, are going to come up right after this cast. We have Jade Cocoon Day 2. It was a huge day, big storyline day on Tuesday. Yesterday, Jade Cocoon. Such a crazy storyline twists that happened in that cast. Make sure you don't miss it. If you missed Day 1, we got you covered. It's already there on our YouTube channel. Don't miss Mega Man Legends Day 1. It's up on Twitch right now. That's twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch. And
Yes.
And don't miss our shorts don't miss anything on any content that we drop on our social media. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's Clusterfucked Media, just like you're seeing it right now. Remember to subscribe on this subscribe to the channel, follow the Twitch, and jump on any of those social medias to keep up with us at any time, because we might have variable stream times that happen. Drix over here, he might pop in Mega Man Legends on a Friday night. You never know.
Friday through Sunday, weekends, anything can happen. It's our time.
It's our time, and right now,
Yep.
It's game time. And we thank you for joining
Don't forget
us.
to light us up in the comments section. I'll take any of your video game music requests if you've got something
Yes.
you want to hear on CFM Radio. So, love to hear those.
Remember to always drop in video game music requests. If Drix can find the track, he will play the track and he'll shout you out. Video game music requests. Make sure you're following us, dropping those comments, and we will see you next time.